All right. Welcome to the final session of PyConZA 2024. We'll be starting off with a few lightning talks. For those of you who weren't here yesterday, lightning talks are short. The speakers have 5 minutes. When they have about 10 seconds left, I will raise my hand. You can start clapping. And if they don't stop at 5 minutes, you can help me force them off the stage. Right. Our first lightning talk will be by Muhammed Toufeeq Ockards. Ever since I was a child, I wanted to learn Excel and work on cross-functionality across teams.
Okay, hi everyone. So this is my talk. If you pick up the area, you can get a sticker from me somewhere. Ever since I was a kid, I knew I wanted to write emails and work in Excel files, right? Cross-functionally across teams. Yeah, that was quite dark. I like dark humor. But you know what else is dark? Certain parts of South Africa were national load shedding stage 2. So also crisis, right? So if you work in a municipality, like on any kind of socio-technical system or environment, you get hit with crisis in a lot of these times, right? And the things that you have in a crisis, the key things you actually have are primitives, right? And those primitives are traditionally communications and data, right? And in certain organizations, those primitives are something like emails, and the data is probably stored in something that everyone's familiar with. So it's like an Excel file. In other cross-functional teams, you have like more than email. You have some really good skills. But the output of this is traditionally just some kind of report. Okay, we kicked the dark side out or something like that. But the output's something like an Excel file that looks like that, right? But if you know memes and you know this meme, you can get another sticker. Computers don't like Excel files, right? So how do we get to like JSON quickly in Python? There's multiple ways. The quickest way is if it's a data frame, you can really just use what's with this to dict and then just dump it in some kind of dict, right? And then you have some JSON. And that's the obligatory that's the side load of Python just to get the dark humor going. And then that's how you go kind of like from Excel, Python pandas to JSON, right? And when you have it in JSON, you can dump it on your object store or do whatever else you want to do with it. And sure, you can go Django, Flask, whatever other system you want to use and burn all the computation in the world. Um, yeah. But a lot of the times it's more to make the data in a way that humans can work with it, but also computers can work with it. And to answer the first question, I think I'll end off with a TikTok. It's would your 15-year-old self be proud of you? It's like, I don't know. I'm not trying to impress a mentally ill child.
Right, thank you very much. Next up is Binjamin Barsch with Just Streamlit. You may go.
All right. Well, thank you. Now imagine you're up at night and you have this epiphany idea in Python, and you're thinking, I need to close a loop of joy to coin David there. How am I going to do that? I have to build a Flask app, a Django app. I think about the DevOps side. Let me just I just want a Python script. I just want to put on a web app, share it with somebody. Like, that's what I want to do. This is where Streamlit comes into it. And as she created this app for you on Streamlit, and you can go to this link and follow it if you want. But what is Streamlit? So it's a Python framework for building interactive web apps very quickly. We speak about, a rapid deployment, but what about rapid development? There's no front end needed. Just write your Python scripts and get it on a web app. Ideal for rapid prototyping, turning ideas or data scripts into shareable apps in minutes. So it's live app updating as well on a save. You got built-in widgets for inputs. You got buttons and sliders and everything else that you have. So how do you do that? You can go to GitHub, create your repo, and I have my app.py file, and just have 2 lines: import Streamlit and my hello world comment. Sign up to Streamlit, connect to my GitHub account, can connect to a repo and choose the app that I want and deploy. And this is what I pretty much get. I get a web app I can share with anyone within seconds. It takes a few minutes to work, but the idea behind this is to rapid development. You have an idea, you have some data you want to share. It's really quick to get this up and running. So something you shouldn't do, but I will do in any case, a live demo. So I'm going to edit this file here, and I'm going to type Streamlit with one hand, commit my changes. And what do you know? It doesn't work. There we go. A live demo actually works. So obviously I didn't do a pull request, so please forgive me. I did this in GitHub, but this is the principle behind it. You can build very fancy apps with Streamlit. Going to give you a few examples here. You can go to App Gallery to see all the examples that people have used. If you have working with map data, you want to share that, you can do that. This is for deep learning for galaxies. You can, have images for galaxies here, and you can like change your sliders, and the images will change. I don't know what it does, but it does. And then some graphs as well. It'll update the plots in real time, and whatnot. So you can change some of the front end, but that's really up to you. Back to some of the content here. So again, it's for fast development. Build fully functional apps in a few lines of code. I just showed 2 lines of code, and you get a web app for free. No HTML, no CSS, no JS. If you want, you can. It's perfect for data science and static apps. One-click deployment. You can also run it locally as well if you want on your own VMs. So again, push your app to GitHub and deploy on Streamlit Cloud or on local one if you want. No server config. Streamlit handles all the traffic and scaling if you want. Real-time collaboration. The cool thing selling for me is I have an idea. I can send it to anyone within minutes, and I can play around with the code or my idea or a feature or something that I want to share. Again, you can install it locally, pip install Streamlit. Limitations. It's not for feature-rich web apps. It's not like Django, Flask. Can't do user management very well or complex backend logic. Not for complex routing or user auth, sessions and databases. There are some experimental features, that you can, kind of find ways around it, but it's not really for that. It's not designed for it. And one more thing, I have 30 seconds left. I got all the talks from PyConZA, and I had added this to the repo as a CSV file, and just, I can see all the different talks in different categories just to demonstrate, what you can do. But try it out. It's something, if you have something in mind, you can try it out. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Everyone's being so prompt. That's no fun whatsoever. Next up is Jeremy Thurgood with Code Reviews Don't Have to Suck.
Please raise your hand or an equivalent appendage if you have ever had someone review your code in a GitHub pull request or something. Please keep your hand raised if that has ever been an unpleasant experience. So the thing about code reviews and any kind of feedback, both giving and receiving, is that it's a skill that can be learned, which means that it's a skill that must be learned if you want to be any good at it. But nobody seems to teach it. So I don't have very much time, so I'm going to focus on the giving the feedback side, how to do a good code review, because I think that'll impact more people than just sitting in the room. If all of you can get better at reviewing code, more people will have good code review experiences. So here are some guidelines. Number 0A, communicate. Add a pull request template to your repo with a suitable structure. Tell people what it is that you expect from a pull request, what information they must provide, and have a checklist at the bottom. Ours has tick boxes for I've added or updated unit tests. I've added or updated documentation. I've added a changelog entry. Yours might be different, but if there's something you want people to do in every pull request, make sure that it's there. This is for stuff that's open to the public or internal stuff. I'm talking about the things we do on our own team. 0B is automate. That's have your build process run linters, formatters, unit tests, anything that you can check automatically, check automatically. Having the build fail can be frustrating, but it generally doesn't offend anyone. The same way that saying, why do the tests not pass, can often offend people. Now we get to rule 1. I say rule, it's a guideline. When you actually have a pull request to review, take the opportunity to learn. If there's something you don't understand, ask about it. If it doesn't make sense, ask why. Sometimes the answer will be, oops, that's a mistake, I'll fix it. That's usually the case in my experience. But sometimes there's a reason someone did something in this way that looks really weird. And then maybe that can start a conversation where you can find a better solution. Maybe you just need to add a comment to the code to explain why it's that way so that the next person to come along doesn't try to fix it and then spend 2 weeks trying to rediscovering why it was done that way. Rule 2, it's a code review, not a developer review. Keep the focus on the code and try to avoid language that makes it personal. For example, what does this do versus why did you do it like this? Number 3, it's not all bad. Programmers tend to focus on problems to solve, so we find the problems and try to solve them. But very often there's stuff in there that's really good. So I like to add comments, hey, that's a neat solution to this problem. Or this is much better than the way I would have come up with to do it, or something like that. Add some positive stuff so that it's not just a flow of negativity and problems to solve. Number 4, be prompt. Waiting days or weeks, or in the case of one contribution I tried to make, years, to get feedback or something committed, just it's unpleasant for everyone, it breaks the flow, and usually if it takes too long, it just never goes anywhere at all. So do things quickly, move things along where you can. So it's not always possible. Some complicated changes will take a long time and need a lot of back and forth, but try and keep things moving. Don't just wait forever before responding. And that's what I have for now. There's a whole lot more, but 4 plus 2 preparation steps is a reasonable amount to try and remember. And please do better code reviews. I know I try to. Thank you.
Thank you. Right. Our last lightning talk is Diagrams Worth 1,000 Lines of Codes by lemuel.
Hello. Nice. Okay. So I'll start. I've got 5 minutes for this. I have ADHD, so I hope you can watch a YouTube video at double speed. So I'm going to start. So first of all, let's start with this. Yep. So I'm going to tell you why text will suck, then some stuff, and then the end. So first of all, what happens when you see this text ball? None of you are listening to what I'm saying, but you're reading there, and there's nothing interesting there. So I'm just going to go on. I've seen many people do this, but let's go. So you can use something called diagrams. It's a nice way to show someone like, hey, we've got a DB, there's a web service, and this is how you do it. There's some corporate services and some custom images, but we're not that interested in it. Let's go. So here's some documentation. You can see on the one side, there's some Python code, there's some images, but yeah, you know that. What can you do with it though? Like really? So this is a Python file. I didn't know what was going on here and I tried to figure out. So you got this. How did it happen? So first of all, we got text, your Python file, your script. You do some regex. You add a tokenizer there, add it in a diagram maker, and then you get a picture. You understood that, right? You didn't have to read. So here we try again. If you can see here, this is a function. You can make out all of these are functions that are linked by a definition. And you can also see you can load a bunch of stuff, but how can you use this? So this is something called EVE Online. This is the whole repository, one frame. So if you go on YouTube, you can watch this and you can see the whole repository change bit by bit. Now, if you saw this instead of your 1,000-line Python script, you might know what goes where. But let's go on. I've got a condition called the factory must grow, and unfortunately, it takes a lot of time. And I had to explain to some space scientists how to do this. They didn't understand it, so I made a picture. What is great about this, though, is I actually took this from the game assets. I never exported the image or anything. I just wrote some Python code, and voila. As you can see, there's some artifact, but I left it in there so you can see the truth of it. Next, this is called something called Apache NiFi. This is what happens when you use diagrams properly. So one of these blocks you would see is a Python script or a Java script. And instead of having all these functions linking here and there, you can actually put it all in a block. And then what you're doing, you're programming with diagrams. So I just want to show you, instead of doing a lot of text and showing people text and then falling asleep or looking somewhere else, or, oh, I don't really understand that word, and losing half of the people, I would recommend make some diagrams. And then just, who am I? I work for Sarao currently. I'm just joking. And then if you want to make friends and never talk to me again, use my LinkedIn account.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Sorry, before we go to Corey, I've just got one quick request to make. If everybody wouldn't mind indulging us adding maybe 5 minutes and being about 5 minutes late. Our swag is here now, but it's taken forever to arrive. So we're now running a bit late packing this stuff so it's ready to collect when you leave. Could I ask maybe 5 or 6 people who are willing to give us a quick hand to join us in that little back room, finish packing the swag for 10 minutes, and then we'll start the keynote, if you don't mind. So maybe 5 or 6 people or more. If you don't fit in the room anymore, that's too many. But as many people who are willing to give us a quick hand, and then we'll be back in about 10 minutes. Thank you.
If somebody wants to use this opportunity to give an impromptu lightning talk, you can feel free. Or Corey can set up.
Hello? Is this on? Oh, this is on. Okay. My presentation takes your attention. Roll your attention into my words. Your interest is clearly engrossed in what I say. Rock your interest. The truth is everything. Let conviction be my words. Your beliefs are right. Your agreement is inevitable. While your attention isn't mysterious, roll your attention into my words. Let sense be my words without conviction. Rock sense into your interest. If your agreement isn't sense, your beliefs are lies. Let conviction be my words. Roll your interest. If your beliefs are lies, let the truth be my presentation taking your interest. Let the truth be my words with the truth. Give the truth back. Your consent is everything. Listen to my talk. While my talk isn't mysterious, my assistant says hello to you. My underling is Alice. Shatter my talk with my assistant at my underling. My slides are works of art. Rock my slides. While my talk isn't mysterious, roll my talk into my work. Cast my work into images. Rock images into my slides. Roll my slides. Let your consent be your consent with my presentation taking my slides. Listen to my talk. Shout your consent. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the source code of a computer program written in a very obscure language called Rockstar. Rockstar was designed by a guy who noticed a lot of people who were looking for Rockstar programmers decided to make the phrase have meaning. It is designed so that your source code reads like rock song lyrics. And what you just heard was a program that if you give it as input a set of numbers on the line separated by spaces, then it will assume that it'll find the gaps between the numbers, then find the gaps between those numbers, continue until it comes up to a constant number, and then from this, it'll predict the next number in the line. For each line of input, it does this, adds all of these up, and then prints the total. This is a little bit of an obscure thing to do. It was a programming contest problem. But through that entire program, It didn't once have to put in a digit. It's got other ways to handle numbers. You ended up with a program it's a PO. It can be read out. A Rockstar is limited in a lot of ways. You can't do file I/O. You can't do graphics. You can't do mouse. But it is such fun to work with.